Hello, dear children. Welcome back. Let's do a short revision of Chapter 4 in History. As we have successfully completed this chapter, in this module, we are going to cover entire summary of the chapter along with the keywords, some of the questions, as well as map skill. Let's begin this module. Vedic Sanskrit, a special kind of Sanskrit in which hymns and verses were composed. Rajasurya Yagya, a special kind of yagya in which sacrifices are performed by chiefs and kings who depended on the Brahmins to conduct these rituals. Tripitaka, 3 books of Buddhist sacred text, is called Tripitaka. Stupa, a Sanskrit word which means a heap. Stupa originated a simple semicircular mound of earth, later called Ende. Let's know the meaning of enlightenment. The state of understanding something is called enlightenment. Next word is sermon. A talk on religious or moral subject is called sermon.
So let's begin the first topic, that is glimpse of Sanchi. Topic 1. Glimpse of Sanchi. So here, what is Sanchi? Sanchi is a name of place which is a small town in Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. Now why the Sanchi was popular? The Sanchi was popular because of stupa, and stupa is a structure which is also called as tomb-like earthen semicircular structure which is built upon the burial site of any body. It is called as stupa, and these stupas were very popular during the time period of Buddha. So as it is assumed that when Gautam Buddha died, its all body part were being buried into the 8 different places, and these places, these tomb-like structure of semicircular is being built in that place, and they were being named as stupa. But the Sanchi stupa has a different history. The Sanchi stupa is being built by Samrat Ashoka. Around 19th century, many Europeans were interested to know about the Sanchi stupa and its fact. So they arrived in Bhopal and they took the permission of Begums and the rulers of Bhopal. Basically, Begums of Bhopal played very important role in maintaining its identity. They spent a lot of money in the preservance of these stupas. Now, the Sanchi stupa is the part of World Heritage. its background, history of sacrifices, and debate upon these sacrificial tradition. Now, as we know, in the history, first mid-millennium BCE is considered as the major turning point in the history of world. Why? Because several development, cultural development and traditional development was taking place. One of them was the sacrificial tradition. What is the sacrificial tradition? According to Vedas, we come to know that several mantras and hymns were being chanted during the performance of sacrificial tradition. They used to praise several gods and goddesses like Agni, Vayu, and so on. And they used to pray for their family that they must remain safe. For their cattle, they used to pray and do the sacrifice of different animals. In this way, this tradition is called as sacrificial tradition. For sacrificial tradition, basically, it is carried forward by the royal people, royal families. Later on, it became very popular in the common families as well. The head of the family basically used to perform this sacrificial tradition. Very popular sacrificial tradition which we are going to see in the video is the Rajasuya Yagya and Ashwamedha Yagya. Let us enjoy with the help of these videos.
An important part of Indian culture since dawn of civilization has been the yagya. In fact, our ancestors' power in understanding advanced mathematics is the best understood through yagya and its use. The Sulabh Sutra, the oldest surviving mathematical text, they exhibit an advanced understanding of geometry, fraction and exponents, written around 3000 years ago. Their primary purpose was construction of fire altar for yagya, and the most famous yagya was seen in the key stories in Ashwamedha Yagya, the fourth and the last of the main yagya that successful king did in their progression to respected emperor. It was used by the rulers to prove their undisputed claim on territory. The method to conduct the yagya is described in Yajurveda. It is a year-long endeavor, so it begins with setting up a camp with fire altar and surrounding structures made with very precise measurement. A white horse of the best breed available, satisfying various conditions described in the Yajurveda's Upanishad. Then it was worshipped and released accompanied by the king's warriors to wander for a period of 1 year. The horse was to be protected at all cost, but not directed in any way. Whatever territories was transferred by the horse would belong to the king conducting the yagya, unless a rival could dispute the king's authority by challenging the warriors accompanying the horse. Back at the camp, daily rituals will continue for the entire duration. After 1 year, if no enemy had managed to kill or capture the horse, the animal would be guided back to the camp. It would then be worshipped again, then sacrificed, and king would be declared as the undisputed ruler of all the land. By it, the 14th Parva of Mahabharata named as Ashwamedhika Parva. So it is named because this yagya after Kurukshetra war, Lord Krishna urges Yudhishthira, the newly crowned king, to prove his sovereignty, and Arjun subsequently goes on his famous world conquest. It makes multiple appearances in Ramayana as well. When sage Vishwamitra is taking Ram and Lakshman on his ashram in Balakand, he talks to them about their ancestors. He explains how Ashwamedha horse being stolen from King Sagar's ritual led to the series of events that shaped the world and ultimately led to the king Bhagirath bringing Ganga to the earth. Then, much later, Ram conducted this yagya in Uttarakhand, and that is the horse that was held by Love and Kush, sparking the conflict that culminates in Love and Kush in the story of Ram's court, eventually revealing they are his son. though the ages of Ashwamedha Yagya has been conducted by many Ionic kings such as Bharat, Dushyant, Puru, Parikshit and many more. A king conducting 100 successful Ashwamedha Yagya also held a special significance as that makes the conductor comparable to the Lord Indra. This is the reason Lord Indra stole the horse from King Sagar's Yagya in first place. And of course, King Mahabali was conducting his 100th Ashwamedha Yagya. When Lord Vishnu, in his 5th avatar Vaman, comes to liberate him, he also stopped King Prithu, the first ruler of earth, from doing 100th Yagya, saying it will make him arrogant. In the modern era, Ashwamedha was conducted by kings in the Gupta Empire, both Samudragupta and Kumargupta after him had currency dedicated to the Ashwamedha horses to show their success. At it, the last Ashwamedha Yagya was conducted by Raja Samai Jai Singh of Ajmer in 1741. It has been perhaps one of the most important tools for both territorial and economic expansion in our Itihas. Let us talk about another Yagya, that is Rajasurya Yagya, which was performed during the time of Mahabharata. Indian rulers Pandavas were very strong and popular for their administrative system, prosperity and peaceful environment. Yudhishthira planned to conduct a Rajsurya Yagya to maintain prosperity and happiness of Indraprastha's people. Therefore, Yudhishthira wanted to discuss this matter or plan with Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna said, "You can proceed for this yagya, as you are the most powerful king, and after performing this king, you will be the strongest king of the world." But he reminded Jarasandha too is very powerful king in Magadha. Then Sri Krishna suggested Yudhishthira that first he need to defeat Jarasandha, as after defeating this, he will be declared as the most powerful king in the world. Pandavas were very sure that when they will conduct Rajsurya Yagya, only Jarasandha can challenge them for war. Therefore, Bhim was asked to fight and accept this challenge against him. This war took place for 13 days and it was very tough war. Sri Krishna helped Bhim how to defeat Jarasandha with a tricky idea.
Beyond worldly pleasure. This topic is totally spiritual based, where we will understand about the spread of Jainism. As we know, Jainism was spread after the birth of Mahavir, but before the birth of Mahavir, around 600 BCE in India, towards the northern part of India, Jainism was already existing. Mahavir is also very much popular with the name of Vardhaman. His messages and teachings were totally based upon ahimsa. According to him, stealing and greed, all these are the act of great sin. He totally followed the principle of ahimsa. He said that birth and rebirth of human being is a type of cycle where everything depends upon the good act of people. If people used to perform good act in their life, they get the chance to get and rebirth again in the form of human being. Otherwise, they get into the form of animal. Let us see few more detail and features about Mahavir and Jainism.
Mahavir is the name most commonly used to refer the Indian sage Vardhaman, who established what are today considered to be the central tenet of Jainism. According to the Jain tradition, he was the 24th and the last Tirthankara. As King Siddhartha's son, he lived as prince. However, even at that tender age, he exhibited a virtuous nature. He started engaging in meditation and immerses himself in self-contemplation. After having left behind the pleasures of worldly life, he went into the state of deep silence for a period of about 12 and a half years. During this period, he learned to control his feelings and desires. For quite a long time, he went without food. His search for truth and the real virtue of life made people call him Mahavira. He preached that truth and clean living were the priorities in life, as was non-violence. Till today, Jains do not even harm a fly or mosquito. True Jains tie a cloth around their nose so as not to be breathed in or destroy living organism in the atmosphere. Live and let live. Love all, serve all. Where there is a love, there is life. Violence is suicide. Having compassion towards all living beings, hatred leads destruction. All these are the great virtues of Mahavira. Mahavira advises the humanity: do not reject the existence of the world and do not reject your existence as well. The most important principle of environment is that you are not only the element. When you do something for yourself, you must know your actions will impact the entire world. So what can an individual do? How do this action affect the rest of the world? Have compassion towards the living being. Hatred leads destruction. Just I dislike pain, so all other beings dislike pain. Aim to eliminate suffering in the world. Greed destroys everything, or greed destroys human nature. All these are some of the other points which were the part of Mahavir's teaching. Around 500 BC, Lord Mahavira, the last of the 24 Tirthankar, took his breath here in this place named Pavapuri. This is the place where Lord Mahavira achieved moksha or nivaran. Followers of Buddha. Buddha founded Sangha, an organization of monks who became teachers of Dhamma. As they lived in alms, they were known as bhikshus. New religious tradition during Buddha period. Buddha was regarded as a human being who attained enlightenment and Nibbana through his own efforts. Later, the concept of Buddhism was divided into Hinayan and Mahayan. Let us differentiate between Mahayan and Hinayan. Mahayan believed that Buddha will born again, whereas Hinayan, they said, Buddha will never be reborn. Language of Mahayan were adopted Sanskrit, whereas Hinayan they preferred Pali language. Worship of Buddha in the idol form was very popular by Mahayans, whereas Buddha was an intellectual, not a god, was the belief of Hinayan. Let's get familiar with some places which are associated with Gautam Buddha's life. Lumbini is the place where he was born. The place where he attained his enlightenment was Bodh Gaya, and the place where he gave his first teaching or sermon was Sarnath, and the place where he attained his nirvana was Kushinagar. Each of these places were regarded as sacred place. Let us have a look upon sculptures of Buddha period. The enlightenment of Buddha was shown by different symbols, mainly Bodhi tree, which symbolizes an event of Buddha's life. The empty seat indicates the meditation of Buddha. The stupa represents the Mahaparinibbana, and wheel of Dharma shows the sermon of Buddha at Sarnath. Some of the finest depictions of animals like elephant, horses, monkeys and cattle are found in the stupa. Gajalakshmi, the goddess of good fortune, and serpent were also found in the sculptures. Explanation of religions. 19th century, European scholars were more familiar with the status of Buddha and Bodhisattva, which were eventually based on Greek model. But they were sometimes could not understand the sculptures of God and Goddess with the multiple arms and heads or the combination of human and animal forms. Art historians have tried to explain the meaning of his sculptures with the help of textual reference, for example, Puran, but it was not easy task. Gautam Buddha was born the king and queen of Kapilavastu, Prince Siddharth, around 566 BCE. Soon after his birth, an astrologer predicted that he was made to live his life as saint by abdicating the throne and by giving up all the worldly pleasure. His parents, Suddhodana and Maya Devi, was shocked by the news and decided to prevent this from happening by keeping a close watch on him and sheltering him from outside the world. His parent hoped that he would be habitual of luxuries of palace and therefore never give it up. At the age of 16, he was married to Yashodhara, the beautiful daughter of noblemen. Siddharth's curiosity grew with the age, and a day he asked his one of the charioteer to take him on the tour of the city. The first person who came across was an old man, whom he seemed to be very weak and dull. The charioteer explained that along with the age, weakness and poor health used to come. He then come across near to a sick man who was great in pain, and finally a procession carrying dead body to the cremation ground. He was told that every would die one day and leave this world. At the end of the tour, he watched upon a sage who appeared very calm, and after inquiry, Siddhartha was told that such men give up their worldly pleasures in search of inner peace. Siddhartha was deeply troubled by his first experience. He decided that to answer all these questions about life and death, he would have to leave the palace and give up his luxuries and all lifestyle. At the age of 29, Siddhartha left the palace one night while his wife and son was still sleeping. After trying different ways to find the path of truth, he finally reached to the city called Bodh Gaya and started meditating under a large tree. After 49 days of meditation at the age of 35, Siddhartha attained enlightenment. From that day, he was known as Buddha, or an awakened one under Bodhi tree, this tree where he meditated. Gautam Buddha shaded his knowledge to 5 sannyasis who were meditated with him and also travelled across the country, teaching the key principles of Buddhism known as Noble Truth. They are: this world is full of sufferings and miseries. Desire is the cause for all the suffering and miseries. Suffering and miseries can be abolished by removing desire. Desires can be overcome by eightfold path that includes right views, right thoughts, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, right mindfulness, right meditation. Several Buddhist monuments stands all over India to this day, such as Ajanta Ellora caves and Kanheri and Karla caves, as well as universities at Sanchi and Amravati. Gautam Buddha passed away in 483 BCE. Though he lived century ago, his birthday is still remembered as Buddha Jayanti in India. The Bodhi tree is still worshipped as symbol of enlightenment even today. Gautam Buddha, the enlightened soul. Gautam Buddha was one of the most influential teachers of that time, whose message spread across subcontinent, Central Asia to China, Korea, Japan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand and Indonesia. Siddhartha was the son chief of the Sakya clan. He was deeply shocked when he saw old men and sick man and a corpse. He left the palace and set out in search of his own truth. After attaining enlightenment, he came to be known as Buddha or Enlightened One. For the rest of his life, he taught Dhamma or the path of righteous living. Let's get more familiar about the teaching of Buddha. According to Buddha, the world is transient and constantly changing. It is also soulless. Within this transient world, sorrow is instinct of human existence. Buddha emphasized individual agency and righteous action as mean to escape from the cycle of rebirth and attain the realization and nirvana. Let us see who were the followers of Buddha. Buddha founded a Sangha, an organization of monks who became teachers of Dhamma. As they lived in alms, they were known as bhikshus. Later, women also entered in Sangha, and these were known as bhikshukni. Buddha's foster mother, Maha Prajapati Gomti, was first woman to become bhikshuni. Buddha's followers included kings, wealthy men, Gahapati, and also ordinary people, workers, slaves, and craft people. Sculptures of Buddha's period. The enlightenment of Buddha was showed by different symbols by many early sculptures. For example, Bodhi tree symbolizes an event of life of Buddha. The empty seat indicates meditation of Buddha. The stupa represents the Mahanivaran, and wheel of Dharma shows the first sermon of Buddha at Sarnath. Let us have a look upon Buddha's period sculptures. Some of the finest depictions of animals like elephant, horses, monkeys and cattle are also found in stupas. Gajalakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and the serpent were also found. Buddhism was divided into Hinayan and Mahayana in Buddhism. This period is also known as emergence of Shaivism and Vaishnavism. Let us do one assertion type of question, and the question is, given below are two statements, one labeled as assertion A and another labeled as reason R. Assertion is, the mid-first millennium BCE saw emergence of new religion in India. Region, people began speculating on significance of sacrificial tradition and authority of Vedas. Here are the options. Option A, both A and R are correct and R is the correct explanation of A. Option B, A and R are correct and R is not the correct explanation of A. Option C is A is correct but R is not correct. Option D, R is correct but A is not correct. But the correct answer is both A and R are correct and R is the correct explanation of A. Now it's time to do some questionnaire. Question 1. Vardhaman come to be known as Buddha, Kalhana, Kalidas or Mahavira. Second question. 24th great teacher of Jain were known as Tirthankar, Jataks, Jinas or Vardhamans. Buddha was born in Lumbini, Vaishali, Gaya or Rajgiri. At which place Lord Buddha attained true enlightenment? Lumbini, Kushinagar, Sarnath or Bodh Gaya? Answer all these questions in comment. Thank you for watching.